Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Capril. One of the most rewarding things that I do with clients is to schedule what I would call a generations meeting. And this is where I sit down with my clients, who are usually the parents, with their adult children. And what we do is we discuss the planning that we've put in place for mom and dad. And we answer the ultimate question: what happens when mom and dad go? A lot of great things come out of that meeting, and it's a very rewarding meeting. I often compare it to the role that I play, which is one that few parents are comfortable talking about. Kind of like when your kid finds out about the birds and the bees from the health teacher. In my case, it was a little bit of relief. But one of the things that comes out of that meeting, because I get to lead this meeting about death, no one wants to talk about death. We don't want to talk about how life gets started. We really don't like talking about death. But in any event, one of the things that comes up, and this is pretty consistent meeting after meeting, is what do we do with our stuff? Because unfortunately, a lot of our kids don't want our stuff. It's not their kind of thing. Oh, there might be an heirloom here and there. There might be, like, I'm sure Wes will be interested in maybe my pipe collection, or maybe a fly rod that I used a lot. But most of the time, furniture and things like that, very often the adult children don't want it. And for some parents, that's a real dilemma because they value their things. Sometimes there's been family heirlooms, 3, 4, 5 generations. So the natural question is, well, what do I do? Well, the first thing I would recommend is you just accept that reality. Don't be angry about it or disappointed or anything like that. Stuff is stuff. In the end of the day, the fact that they love you is the most important thing. Material items are just that, material items. So my advice would be to start making plans for organizations who would gladly take your stuff. Organizations that would gladly take your furniture, gladly take your clothing. Now, there are organizations that will essentially do an estate sale for you. So you can set it up so that after you're done using it, if you know what I mean, companies can come in and run an estate sale where they'll sell your items across the country. They'll either ship them to whoever buys it. It's all done via online auction. If you live in a big enough market, they don't even have to do that. There will be enough people that will show up who will make bids online, and then will come out and get it. I had a good friend go through this when he was moving, and he decided he and his wife were going to start completely fresh. They were going to get completely new furniture. And so he had an online auction for his furniture mostly, and he was able to sell it all that way. So there are strategies that can be done. Obviously, charity is a natural one, and there's a lot of great charities that can use your things. But don't get bitter about it. Don't be disappointed. But have the conversation. Along those lines, one asset that there might be an interest in is your home. Now, I have said many times that the worst thing that you can ever leave more than one person is a house. Because what happens is if you leave your house, let's say you have 3 kids, and you leave each child a third of your home, then they have to come up and make a decision amongst the 3 of them as to what to do with it. If they say sell it, well, they got to come up with an agreement as to how much. And those things can cause a little bit of tension. When I get the children of my clients together, the first thing that I will ask them is, who wants the house? Does anybody want the house? And if one person raises their hand, great. They get the house. They get less of other things. The end, the net worth split is the same. But by leaving it to just one person, now one person can make the decision. And that's also very helpful if you have like a secondary home, recreational property, etc. Now, if they all want it, one of the things you may want to consider doing is to create a trust that would own the property at your death, where the rules are spelled out as to who can use it and when. That's something you'd want to discuss with your attorney. But I have unfortunately seen a lot of conflict created when an asset is owned by more than one people. They're not married, so not necessarily on the same team. And don't dismiss the role spouses can play. The spouses who marry into your family. So give that a lot of thought as well. Now, if you'd like to schedule a generations meeting with me and Nikki and your family, feel free to reach out. Depending on the circumstances, we might be able to do it virtually. Maybe we can do it face to face. But I think this is one of the most important things that we do. And I know that the children appreciate it tremendously, because when we have gotten to that point years later, when mom and dad have passed, they always refer back to that meeting as being so helpful. And now they know exactly what to do. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Oh, one last thing. Feel free to share these commentaries with anyone that you know who you think might find them to be beneficial. Take care. Bye-bye.